No again. The many foreigners from Africa and Asia who have camped on the beaches of northern France, waiting for a chance to enter our country illegally, have an endearing nickname for Britain. They call it Treasure Island because it is popularly and correctly supposed that once they reach our shores, they will be showered with rich gifts in the form of accommodation, food, money, and ultimately a permanent home, from where they will be able to send for all their relatives whom they have left behind in Afghanistan or the Congo. Attempting to enter many countries illegally will not end well, and can in many cases result in lethal force being used against one. That is to say, in a lot of the world, if instead of arriving at an airport or border crossing with your passport and the appropriate visa, you try and slip past border guards by finding a lonely or deserted part of the frontier and just sneaking across, you're liable to be shot. Protecting one's borders and controlling who comes and goes is one of the most important tasks of any civilized nation. Without secure and defensible borders, no country can really be said to be independent. I was reminded of this yesterday at the Allenby Bridge, a crossing point on the Israeli border. A large red sign warns travellers in cars and lorries that if they leave their vehicles, they are putting their lives at risk. In plain language, this means that if you jump out of your car and try and run across the border, you'll be shot. I might mention, on an unrelated note, that illegal immigration and asylum seekers are not a serious problem in this country, and those entering illegally are likely to receive not a hotel room with bed and breakfast, but rather 9 grams of lead in the back. Perhaps this is a harsh policy, but it does not strike me as an altogether unreasonable one. A nation-state cannot exist without secure borders, which is why, of course, the European Union, with the Schengen Agreement, is an attempt to dismantle the idea of national sovereignty for countries such as Germany, France, and Italy. Allowing millions of asylum seekers into those countries shows the true nature of open borders. Open borders mean uncontrolled mass immigration of people from poor countries to those which are more wealthy, from Africa and Asia into Western Europe. It might have been thought that Britain was ideally placed to have secure borders, because we are, of course, an island. For centuries we kept a strict watch on who entered the country, and officials at docks and airports checked everybody who wished to enter the country. They still do this, of course, at airports, but nobody cares about those who avoid entering by the official routes and simply set sail at sea. All are then welcomed into the country, being housed and fed for the rest of their lives if that is what they wish. I cannot help but wonder what the result would be if Britain were to be as strict about her borders as so many other countries are. The number of those attempting to cross the Israeli border illegally is vanishingly small because they know that the border police here do not fool around. I sometimes wonder how long it would take those who are dreaming of a new life in Treasure Island to get the message if we adopted some similarly robust policies, instead of greeting the flotsam and jetsam of the world as though they were our long lost brothers.